Hi there, and welcome to week 9 of Around the OrkneyBowl. And of course, I'm joined by Craig as usual and a special guest, Martin. How's it going?
Hello, hello.
Good afternoon,
There you
good
go,
gentlemen.
Craig.
How are we?
How's the hangover?
Well,
Yeah, it's not very good, so
we're all ready for the
Well,
football weekend.
So we've had a busy week, not just the trade deadline in NFL, but the way people were trading this week, they think it was bloody deadline this week too. So we'll go through here, but obviously first up we have the team of the week. We've finally got a team this year that's broken the 300 mark. Well done to
Jeez.
Sandbach Satans, 314.83 points, led along by Travis Kelsey finally showing up and getting 38 points. But 30 points of Gino Kamara, like you spoke on before, 37 points. Jay Flowers, 34 points. Chase Brown, 34 points. It's just scary. 7 points for a kicker.
it's a big score. It's and it's taken all this time to get over 300 points. It's a testament to kind of the way that the NFL's went this year, and in terms of being down on touchdowns, down on kind of move. The defense have been on top, I would say, but it's finally starting to open up a little bit now, and you'll probably find that this week there'll be a couple over 300. All those with the Burrow Chase stack's going to be staring at the best part of 100 already, just out of 2 players. So I think there'll be a couple more over 300 this week. But yeah, great scoring, good to finally see it opening up.
Tell you what, though, look at his bench. He didn't have Higgins. He didn't have Diggs. They're both out. Rashad White on the benches. Purdy on the bench. There's more points in that team.
Yeah,
there is. It was a cracking score, but I think there was a 290. There was a 290 as well. But yeah, the first win of the year for 300 points. It's well done to Sandbach Satans. So we'll go on to the trades now. Obviously, your heads are in the way here, Craig. Sorry, but the Kirkwall Cowboys, we got Jacoby Myers, Mario Douglas, and the Gothenburg Angels got K. Doughton. This actually happened in the week before. So obviously, Gothenburg Angels scored with getting K. Doughton over another decent game, but Kirkwall Cowboys getting 2 wide receivers for themselves. So,
this makes me buzz. See when you see the leagues just start trading, especially at this time, because this is teams like they're gambling now. They're like, right, okay, I feel I'm a bit light here. I'm gonna maybe make myself a wee bit worse somewhere, but I'm really gonna get this boy in that I really want, and that's what you love to see, yeah.
I mean, K. Doughton, to be picking up K. Doughton as well. I mean, he is the man in Tampa now, and Baker Mayfield doesn't look like he's slowing down. I've never had that much kind of want for Baker Mayfield. I've never thought of him as being like a proper top class elite quarterback, and I still don't. But he's doing there's no getting away from the fact that he's doing very well this year, and with Evans out and Godwin out, it's going to be K. Doughton, and he's shown that over the last couple of weeks. So massive move for Gothenburg Angels, trying to kind of get themselves that piece, like you say, Mark, that final piece that they might need, because giving away Jacoby Myers and Demario Douglas, they're both, I mean, Myers is going to be the number one in Las Vegas now, and Douglas has had these games already, and you've got to think with Drake May in now, he's only going to get better as the season goes on. So, it's a good move for Kirkwall Cowboys as well to pull in 2 of them, and if he's got to cover at tight end, why not?
I definitely agree, and you got to remember as well, like this is where my team personally struggles as well. This is a 3 wide receiver league, so getting a 1, and I think Douglas, I think the only way is up for him this season now as well. I've got him in another league, and I've got high hopes for him. So yeah, like obviously I can't see the other teams right now, but it looks like a fair trade and a good trade overall.
Indeed, yeah, completely agree. And as I say, it'll give that gives Kirkwall Cowboys some options now, definitely at receiver. That's 2 players that you can plug in. And at 4 and 5, it's kind of them making a wee push for a run at the playoffs as well, I would say.
Definitely. Now we've got St. Magnus division. One day also had a trade. Dublin Everett Blues, the defending champions, pick up AJ Brown and give away Ramondre Stevenson and Michael Pittman for the Leicester Tigers, who won again last week, so they're now up to 2 and 7. It's pretty close, I think, in the bottom half. So obviously they'll be wanting to push themselves to get to the playoffs, even at 2 and 7. So what do you think?
I think like Ramondre, he's a weird, like he's he gets so much touches. Like, he's not playing good, but he's got the volume. And seeing the Orkney scoring, like, volume's kind of king. See if you've kind of, sometimes you're in the draft and you're like, right, I'm going to pick up a guy that either gets volume or a guy that can score a touchdown. In Orkney scoring, you're better getting the guy with the volume. And that's what Ramondre is. He's just a volume monster, eh? So I actually think, and if depending on what that squad has, wide receiver-wise, Pittman, I'm not that high on him, but at least he's like a squad guy. Somebody, look, if you're desperate, you've got buys, whatever, you can stick him in, eh?
I think he's out this week.
Yeah,
So he's going to miss him this week.
I've always been cold on Pittman ever since the get-go. I've just never seen the want for him. But at the same time, he has big games. He's had big games, and I think as long as Flacco's a quarterback, he'll do fine. He's a player that you can plug in. I think he'll do fine. Stevenson, I've got Stevenson in our home league, and he's so frustrating. As you say, he gets the volume, but in our home league, there's nothing for carries. There's nothing for catches. It's just straight, yards. So. He's had his big weeks, obviously, but he's had his bad weeks as well. So I absolutely get what Dublin Everton Blues are doing here. They're at 3-6 and you're defending your title. You want to give yourself every opportunity. So you've went out and you've got yourself a superstar, a stud.
And I think he's actually also one of the higher scoring teams as well. He's just come up against higher scoring teams each week, a bit like Rotherham Raiders. Again, he's come up against higher scores, which is he's still been scoring well.
To be able to give away a running back as well, and I say, like Ramondre Stevenson, I'm assuming that he's got at least two other big ones there that are going to be kind of coming in because, giving away Ramondre, if you've got the cover for that, picking up an absolute stud, and AJ Brown is a big increase on Michael Pittman, because Pittman will be cold at times as well. So if he's got the cover for Stevenson, I think it's a great move just to give himself that chance to get into the playoffs and defend the title.
Have the Pats had their bye week yet?
Are they not week 14 maybe?
I think they have. Yeah, I think they're week 14.
I think that's the thing as well. Like, AJ's already, I know he's like, I've got him now, obviously, so he's a bit frustrating with his injuries and that now, but he's already had his bye week. So you're kind of gaining a week, maybe two in a way.
Yeah, because the other two haven't had the bye week. Oh no,
I do take that into consideration when I'm doing a trade. As the bye week being as the guy I'm giving away, as his bye week being, as the other guy's bye week being, it is something to think about. Because if you're getting someone through their bye week, it's just plug in and done. That's it. They don't move for the rest of the season. Happy days.
Yeah, exactly.
And obviously, and Dwarfy stay in Division 4. The leaders, Birmingham Bears, get Xavier Leggett, and Plymouth Assassins get Jonathan Brooks.
Can I just say how jealous I am of this trade? Regardless on how good or how bad Brooks has been, right? I have tried since about week 2 to pick up Brooks in about 10 leagues. And everyone that's got Brooks has like the worst record you could ever imagine because of where they drafted him. And I've offered better offers than this, and I've failed every time I've tried to get him. So well done to the Plymouth Assassins. You've done something I tried all season to do, and I gave up 2 weeks ago.
I mean, for me, it's one of those ones where Brooks doesn't look like he's going to get much this year. I mean, they've just paid Hubbard. I don't think he's as ready as people seem to think he is. I mean, I know he's going to probably make his debut today, but I'm not convinced he's going to get that many touches. And in his first year, and redraft, I mean, in Dynasty, I'd go after him hard, but in redraft, I just don't see him being that relevant this year, I've got to say, but that's just me, And Birmingham Bears have picked up Leggett, who is going to be the kind of number 1 receiver there now that Deontay's gone. So, I mean, it's a very fair trade. If Brooks does do something, then it'll help Plymouth Assassins maybe stay in the... in fact, they can get relegated to Division 4. So, yeah, I mean, why not? I do think that Birmingham Bears has got the better out of it if it can be that. It's Carolina Panthers, so it's a bit of a nothing for me, to be honest.
Well, as another pub in the OrkneyBowl, I'd rather Jonathan Brooks doesn't start.
Well, the reason why I've tried to get him is it's just you're taking a punt on somebody. Like, actually, I'm surprised it's not the other way around. I'm surprised it's not the Birmingham and Bears trying to get him, just because I think you're shooting for the upside, eh? I actually think if you trade for him, the chances are, if I'd got him, you're not expecting a miracle, but you're just giving yourself that chance that he might just come hot in the playoffs, eh?
Well, he's a wild card, definitely, and as you say, Martin, that is a playoff move. It's why I kind of don't understand Plymouth Assassins doing 7 in Division 4. But it's definitely a playoff move. It's this could win you that could trading for Jonathan Brooks could win you the championship, but it's a dart throw. It's an absolute dart throw.
Well, the Birmingham Bears are sitting at first at 7-2, but we'll see their team in a bit. Now, at Maze Howe with three trades in Maze Howe, and a lot of them are in the top 6. Obviously, we've got the number 1, 6-3 Dickins's Demons getting DJ Moore and Jackson's position Jigba, and the number 2 Crew Juggernauts getting Brian Robinson, who is out this week. But the top teams are trying to solidify the top teams. But this is the division where there's one game between 1st and 11th, I think, or 1st and 10th, so there's not a lot between them.
You'd love to be in this division, eh? Just trades mad. Even if see divisions like this, it's that fun that even if you end up getting relegated, you've had a good season, eh? You've had fun in this division, and that this is the division you want to be in. You know what I mean? This is the one everyone wants to be in because it just sounds really fun.
I know you do like your trades, Martin. I know you do like your trading and your odds. It's as testament to my Hopkins sitting pride of place in wide receiver 1 role at the moment,
Yeah.
But I mean, for me, this is a crazy one from Crew Juggernauts. I mean, they've given away 2 upside receivers for an injured running back.
I don't. The thing that gets me is that I would. They've got some cojones because you're trading with the 1st and the 2nd. You know what I mean? That's just usually I would try and not trade with somebody that's that close to me because you could just end with regret. So.
Yeah, it could absolutely bite you in the ass. But yeah, I mean, I think DJ Moore and Smith and Jigba are very much players that are more than likely, if you've got them in your squad, they're not going to be on many benches. They're going to be in flex spots in most leagues that they are in. They are starting players. So I think Dickens Heath Demons has done very well there. And yeah, they're going to have some bad weeks, but you've got to be looking at the playoffs from 6-3 and in first place, So two very playable wide receivers. So I think he's done very well there. And Crew Juggernauts, I'm assuming, is struggling at running back and needs to find something there and is got an abundance of receivers. I would think that's why they're making that move from 6-3 and just trying to kind of get that piece that they think is missing.
Yeah, I agree. If that's the case, then I think the trade's obviously right now it looks one-sided. But if they needed a running back, I know he's out injured now, but if they're thinking, right, I'm going to be in the playoffs, Brian Robinson, he could really do some damage in the playoffs,
Yeah, he's been playing well, Brian Robinson. Then we've got the Bonnie Rig Cheeseheads against the Portland Lumberjacks, 9-8. So Bonnie Rig received Devontae Smith and Najee Harris, and Portland Lumberjacks, he likes a trade. Last year he got Kelsey, this year he's getting Tyreek Hill. So.
Yeah, I love this one. That's a big move. I mean, Portland Lumberjacks are picking up the number 1 wide receiver and fantasy, certainly, scoring wise or potential anyway. And you've got Tua back now, but he's not quite done it yet, and that's how he's managed to get the trade for him. He's not quite done it. And I think Bonnie Rig Cheesehead has actually pulled in 2 big. I mean, Najee, much like Stevenson, he's not that good. He's not been that good, but the volume that he's getting is getting him all the points. So, and Devontae Smith is a bona fide number 2 and a very, very good wide receiver who you play every single week. So he's nailed down his two starters for getting rid of Tyreek Hill, thinking, he's not really been doing it this year so far.
Yeah, I like this trade. This is like a fireworks trade, but I do think that regardless how it kind of works out, Bonnie Rig, they've got a really good deal for Tyreek. Like any other season, you couldn't never imagine trading Tyreek because he's not been injured. I know he's dealing with a wrist thing now, but he's just not been good. And so Devonta Smith's been really, really good the last couple of weeks, and Najee, like you said, he's getting so much volume. So for this to work out for the Portland Lumberjacks, they need old school Tyreek to show up because Devonta and Najee have been really good this year in fantasy.
My worry for Tyreek is their record now, and it's at what point do they turn around and say, do you know what, this season's gone, let's sit down to her, let them get really over the concussion and that, and just sit them down for the rest of the year and bring them back next year ready to go, so that wouldn't overly surprise me if they done that in the next few weeks, if they don't start winning soon, so that would be my worry for Hill, because no Tua, no Hill, that's been proven,
True. And the final one, 4 against 6 this time. Commander at Kings. Derek getting DeAndre Hopkins. I think I've probably spelled it. I've not changed the players. That's a good one. So he's getting DeAndre Hopkins, and the Belfast Bears one was getting DeAndre Swift. I must have
no DJ Moore and Brian Robinson. No.
No. This is what happens when I'm in a hurry after church.
This is going to be I need a running back versus I need a wide receiver. I've been so cold on Swift pretty much all his career, to be fair, and he has showed me up quite a bit, and he showed me up again this year massively, because he has been really, really good. But I'm not the biggest. I'm still not totally on board with Swift, so I do like what Commander Kings have done and picked up Hopkins, because he is going to be Mahomes' number one for the rest of the season. Now you have that, even when Pacheco comes back, that'll just help that, when he comes back from IR. And even if Rice was to come back, I still think Hopkins is going to be the man, because he is that good.
Oh, I don't think we'll see Rice. He will not see him in fantasy, I don't think. Like I had to drop him. I needed IR slot, so I actually had to drop Rice. I don't think we'll see him in fantasy.
Hang on, did you? Hang on. I'm just going to get Rice from agency. Give me a second.
I'm sure I dropped him. I dropped him weeks ago because I had so many injuries. But they will not see him. He'll not be back. Swift. When he had those 3 really shocking bad games, I actually tried to trade for him. So I had the right idea, but I never got him. And then the week later, that's when he just showed up and battered everyone.
And he has been outstanding since then. It was about, as you say, about week 4 or 5 when he got his first big game, and he's been great since then. He's been running all over everyone that have played, and they've not been that good. They've not been great. So it's a testament to him, I guess. But I'm still not on board. I think he's going to put her away again. I really do. I'm not. I wouldn't want to be going into my playoffs relying on DeAndre Swift. I've got to say, I would much rather be going into them relying on Hopkins with where he's landed.
Yeah, I think Hopkins has that safe floor now. Even if Mahomes, I think he's still going to have bad weeks in him. I still think he's like a streaming quarterback still. But I think Hopkins is always going to get 5 receptions. He's probably always going to score at least 10 points now.
I agree.
Which is like on a terrible week, you're still going to get 10 points. You know what I mean? He's got quite a safe floor, I think.
Yeah, I agree.
Cool. Then we'll go on to the games now. That's all the trades done. So we'll start off at St Magda Division. So you've got the Manchester Bees 241.96 up against the Glasgow Eagles 269.10. Dublin Everton Blues 171.65 against Seattle Patriots 200.55. Whitford Rock Stars 179.34 against the Carlton Crew 220.90. Ancoats Citizens 227.58 against Alaskan Deep Freeze 155.43. Waterloo Warriors 202.93 against 196.14 EK Colts. Leicester Tigers 169.81 against the 234.62 Leeds Lassers, going 5-4. So the Glasgow Eagles and the Carlton Crew both sitting at 7-2. You've got the Manchester Breeze at 6-3. Then you've got the Waterloo Warriors, Leeds Lassers, and Whitford Rockstars all at 5-4. Then you've got 3 teams at 4-5: Seattle Patriots, Ancoats Citizens, Alaskan Deep Freeze. Double Everett Blues 3-6, and then 2-7s, EK Colts and Leicester Tigers, who were the high scorers last year, coming up a bit short this year.
Yeah, I mean, well, 9 weeks in now, Johnny, so everything's starting to take a little bit of shape now. It's the Glasgow Eagles can start thinking about the playoffs. Carlton Crew can start thinking about the playoffs. The 6 and 3s are nearly there, and the 5 and 4s are looking over their shoulders desperately at the 4 and 5s, thinking and checking what their run-in is to make sure that they've got enough in the tank to get there. But yeah, it's all, it's tight from there down. But Glasgow Eagles and Carlton Crew are looking like they'll be heading into the playoffs and getting a shot at the OrkneyBowl.
Well, the Carlton Crew are on a 3-game win streak.
I think the Everton Blues, they're 3 and 6 now. I think they need to win this week, or else I think that this is it now. They need to go on a run now. This will be their last. I think this week they need to win to have a chance now.
Yeah, it's curtains if they don't. I agree. And the 2 and 7s, I think, have just got to start thinking about the consolations and staying in the division now, because it is the top division. The last thing you want to do is get relegated out of it, So it's that's what their concentration's got to be on now. And that's kind of, you can start looking at agency and seeing what's kicking about in agency and, who's going to help in the playoffs. You don't need to think about this week, next week, the week after. You've got to think about weeks 14, 15, 16 and 17 now.
I think, I think it was the team that's near the bottom here that traded for Brooks, which is, I suppose, mind be said, that was more a playoff move, but there's playoffs at both sides of the table in this league, so getting Brooks, I suppose he has done something to try and save him relegation,
No, Brooks was in the Warford.
Oh, was it another division?
4.
This is where Danny got AJ Brown and Leicester Tigers got Michael Pittman and Ramondre Stevenson.
Oh, right, sorry.
So, but
yeah, shows the Dublin
Everton Blues. A 4-game win streak. What you got to look at?
Shows the Dublin Everton Blues team just to see what AJ Brown plugging in there's going to do to it. Well, it's off to a flyer this week with Jackson and Henry, that's for sure. Although, I mean, Henry's done okay, It was only kind of par for Henry he scored this week, It's the bigger ones were Chase, Burrow, and Jackson, obviously.
Well, he's got Jonathan Brooks, so he might be plugging in Jonathan Brooks this week. He's out Robinson.
I wouldn't be plugging him in this week, but he's still got Robinson now. But yeah, I mean, you plug in AJ Brown, he's got Tyreek there as well. So he's got AJ Brown and Tyreek there at wide receiver now. So that's pretty big for him.
He'll need to drop the Vidal because that's the Gus Bus is back. So I just had to do that in another league. I had to drop because I had the Gus Bus on IR. So I picked up Vidal weeks ago, but you've got to drop him now because he'll not see the field.
Yeah, I think I've got Gus Bus in here, I'm sure. And I just picked him up in the home league as well, just because, he's back from IR and you never know.
Well, earlier, during, when we were drafting for fantasy, the Gus Bus was meant to be the guy. He was the RB1, and then it just never worked out.
Well, no, Dobbins has come in and shown that he could still do it, and that's been the big thing there. That Dobbins has shown that he's still got it in him.
Well, Danny's picked up Audric Estime, who likes to fumble the ball all the time. He's picked up Blake Cashman. He's had almost as many fumbles as he had carries, and said, we're going to give him the ball. Why give him the ball when you've got Javonte Williams and you've got McLaughlin?
But that's what the Jaguars have done this season. Tank Bigsby was the worst running back in the league last season by a country mile. He probably had more fumbles than he did carries last season. And so how he got a second chance is beyond anyone. I was even when I had Etienne and I never went after Bigsby, and it was because he was so bad last season. I thought this is never going to be anything. And, well, he put up some decent games in the end.
I had Bigsby. I was big on Bigsby in Dynasty, for the year that he was a rookie. I drafted him all over the place in Dynasty, and I dropped him on about half of them, which really annoys me. And see when I see him, I just against him. It's like, I just had to keep him one more freaking month or whatever.
I know, but
to keep him for the name alone. Tank is awesome. I mean.
I think he was so bad. He was so bad last season.
He was awful last year. He was terrible. I mean, he just couldn't play the game. It was he obviously needed that year just to work himself out in that. But he's certainly done very much better this year, to the point where, I traded Etienne last year in a league, and I got just pre-season there, and I got quite chunky back for him, first rounders and stuff. And in fact, I think it was I gave away him in my first round and something else for Brees Hall and Tank Dell, and I've since traded Brees Hall and Tank Dell as well for a couple of firsts and a couple of seconds. So I done very well out my Etienne trade.
This is Craig saying how bad you are at trading. He's worse than you.
I can't say I like a wee trade every now and you've got to shake it up a little bit. My problem with the trading is I seem to feel like you should get more for the top class running backs, So see your Joe Mixons, your Derrick Henrys. In Dynasty, if I'm sitting with Derrick Henry and I'm like 2-7 and I'm thinking about next year now, I'm going to maybe trade him away because he's older, but I'm going to be trading him with someone who's chasing the title, and it might be the difference between them winning the title or not. So I feel they should have to pay for that. I feel it should be a first, but no, you don't get first for aging running backs in Dynasty. It's always second.
Well, plus the fact you're probably trying to trade with Doug or Sean. You're a bit stingy with giving out the early picks, like.
No. I'm talking, most folk, they just don't seem to want to pay for these aging running backs, which I kind of understand as well, because you're not getting much out of them. But you're buying a title, for goodness sake. Surely you still have to pay for it. That's my opinion,
Well, I think Derrick Henry will be good next season, judging by how he is now.
Henry just seems to not age.
No, he is a beast, isn't he?
He's a machine.
But yeah, I mean, in here, let's see who's got who next week, Johnny, because these 4 and 5s are going to have to, with the gap being there now, 6th place is 5 and 4 and 7th place is 4 and 5. There is that 1 game gap now. So even if 4 and 5s, they need to be winning, you need to start. 4 and 6 is a lot. It's a long way back from 4 and 6.
Well, you know how I said that the Dublin Everton Blues come up against a high-scoring team, so they're projected to get 211. They're up against the Glasgow Eagles. You're projected to get 272. Because obviously,
that's about
Lamar and Henry up against Chase. Oh, it was the defender scored a lot of points, was it? No, he's only got Chase so far with 67 points for Chase alone.
Yeah, Chase went nuts.
That was mental.
So yeah, I mean that is a bit harsh. You get a start like that where you're running back, and your running back gets par, and your quarterback goes nuts, and you're still behind by 1-1 player. That's hard, especially when you're 3-6 and chasing it.
I tell you what, that Mixon and Kamara, they're going to score a lot of points this week as well, I think. Especially Kamara. I think Kamara's like going to score like 40-50 points this week. I just think they've got nobody else.
They haven't. They've really not. So yeah, I mean it looks like it's going to be a close one on paper, but it's a must win for Dublin Everton Blues, and it's not the game that you would be wanting to face in a must win,
Well, that's a big game.
Ancoat Citizens and Seattle Patriots, 2 4 and 5 teams, Winner gets themselves in it, and losers a long way to go, and especially the 5 and 4 teams playing each other.
Yeah, and the 4 and 5, 4, 5 and 4. So yeah, it's going to be. It could all change a bit next week, depending on the scores.
There's I think it's a 7 and 2 against a 6 and 3 near the top. The Manchester Bees,
Manchester Bees and Carlton Crew. Yeah,
that's going to be a biggie.
Yes, that's one. That's 2 against 3.
Carlton Crew can afford to lose that, no problem, I would say. But see, Manchester Bees, when you're 6 and 3, you want to get that. You need to get that over the line, because if you go 6 and 4, and then you got a tough game next week, and all of a sudden it's 6 and 5, and the sphincter starts wobbling, and then you start overthinking things and maybe plugging players in for ones that you shouldn't and stuff. So that's the kind of position where when I'm sitting 6 and 3, where I am sitting 6 and 3. I want to get that over the line as soon as humanly possible, because I don't want to start worrying about it.
And if he loses, it looks like obviously the Glasgow Eagles look like favourites right now. Them two would be both 8 and 2, and then you're down in 6 and 4. That's you're struggling to reach the bye then. Eh?
Well,
the bye's pretty much gone.
Yeah, it's going to be good. So we'll go on to years maybe then. So week. And yes, I actually won a game this week.
Somebody has dropped the Gus bus. Pick up the Gus bus. Whoever's in this league, go pick him up.
He'll be in Weber now until Wednesday. So yeah, so Duke's dropped the Gus bus. So Orkney Orcas, 241.35 against £230 Stockholm Bengals. The Newcastle Buccaneers 227.80 against the Warner Bay Goonies 214.58. Gadam Goats 205.76 against 180. Harrow Harlequins. The Bankrook Panthers 185.94 against the Whitehall White Tigers 228.99. Glossop Fighting Goaters 161.47 against the Yorkshire Finns 220.11. And the Solihull Sharks 182.65 up against the Newcastle Buccaneers 164.20. So he actually went from the lowest scoring team to the highest scoring team, and I'm still bloody bottom.
I tell you what, though, Johnny, you're only what, 6th place is 4 and 5, and you're 3 and 6. You've got a chance.
I got my cafe back this week. Hey.
Look, he's smiling now. Hey, look at him.
Yeah, but yeah, so I've got Newcastle Colts at 7-2, Gadama Goats at 7-2, the Warners Bay Goonies and Whitehall White Tigers at 6-3, Bankrook Panthers at 5-4, the Harrow Harlequins and the Solihull Sharks at 4-5, Succumb Bengals, Yorkshire Finns, Glossop Fighting Gophers, Buccaneers, and the Orkney Orcas, all 3-6. There's a lot of 3 and 6s in this one.
I mean, what 5 weeks to go, and this one's really tight. With 5th place and the only 2 games ahead of 12th place. Still 5 to go, so that's plenty there. Again, the 6 and 3s will want to get that 7th win just to get it a little bit more comfortable, and the top 2 can start thinking about playoffs. But it couldn't be any closer, and you're right back in it, Johnny. How did you manage to get 240 points this week? What was your big players?
A bloody miracle. But the Whitehall White Tigers are actually on a 6-game win streak, and
they were 0-3.
And the Solihull Sharks are on a 4-game win streak, so they were 0-5, the Solihull Sharks. But I got there by sheer miracle. Stafford and Hubbard 24 points, Cup the back, Jordan Reed, Chris Sutton getting 29 points, came in handy. Hunter Henry, everybody scored really apart from Reece Hall.
I tell you what, I'm actually see for the rest of the season. See Sutton, I actually think he's going to be really good. Like, I'm thinking to myself right now, I actually think he's that bad. I probably wouldn't even get this right now, but I've got Travis Etienne right now, and I'm thinking to myself, see if somebody offered me Sutton for him, I would probably take that right now. Honestly, that's where I am with Travis. But actually, because he's been injured all season and trying to play through injuries, I don't even think somebody would offer me Sutton right now for him, because he needs to prove it.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't, to be fair, but at the same time, it's Etienne could be the number 1 there again very, very quickly. It's one of those ones where he's hard to start at the moment, but I'd definitely keep him on my bench. I wouldn't chuck him, because that's one you could regret, But yeah, as you say, I'll do like Sutton. I think Sutton's going to do just fine. Bo Nix is getting better and better and better. And Sutton's an auto starter for me, kind of now where I've got him, and I do have him in a few.
Of course, I even had Quentin Johnson on the bench.
See, he's funny, because I've got Lad McConkey, and I think Lad's safer. Like, I think he'll get more volume, but Quentin's got that. Like, if he's going to get a touchdown every game, that's.
Yeah, but I didn't play him because he'd been out injured, and you never know what they're going to be like when they first come back. So
now Chargers are definitely throwing the ball now. So you can play their wide receivers and not be like, right, I need a miracle. Like, I'm not saying you're playing them thinking, right, I'm going to do well here, but it's more even. It's not like, right, this is a Hail Mary.
They're definitely throwing it, 100%. They're throwing the ball all over the place now, and it's surprising because it's no Harbaugh's way. He's run it to death. That's how he plays football. But they're throwing it, and they're throwing it well. And Herbert's a very good quarterback. That's what people seem to forget. That he has been kind of the forgotten man a little bit of late.
I think what it is Herbert was always throwing the ball and always getting clobbered and getting injured and dislocating arms and thrown wrong-handed. But now, because they're running the ball, they're actually having to take that into account. So he's getting a bit more time. Because he's always been a good thrower, like you say, but he's always had to throw the ball about 50 times.
I think as well with Herbert, he's fit. I think that makes a big difference.
Good, and he's not been for a long time, but he is fit now, and you can see that.
I have to say, though, I was right about one thing during the draft. I said, all the Chargers players were dropping down boards. Herbert, you could pick up as your last pick in a draft. He wasn't getting drafted. All the running backs were 10th round running backs. Wide receivers, 9th round. It was it just didn't make sense. One of the sides of these balls, it was going to produce points. So I was just basically telling people, draft one of them, draft Herbert, draft one of the running backs, draft one of the wide receivers, because one of them has to hit. Like, you can't have a whole team not doing anything, eh? And it's
100%. It was they were all very, very late on. That's the thing. But the thing about that, and it was the same problem I had with the Packers kind of receivers as well, in that feel like they're all going to get a little bit of something and none of them are going to get a whole bit of everything. Do you know what I mean? And it's one of those ones where, do you want to settle for that kind of, I'm going to get a little bit and maybe have 1 week, or do you want to go for the kind of, I'm going to have bigger weeks every week, and then maybe that's kind of my issue with drafting them. And I picked up lads in a couple of places. I picked up Dobbins. I couldn't help myself with Dobbins. He was just going way too late, because as you say, the Gus Bus was going in front of him.
I think that was what I'm saying, but with the Chargers, the difference between, like, Green Bay, they were going in between the 6th and the 8th, whatever. Like, every Chargers player, they weren't getting drafted till like the 10th round. Like, it was costing you nothing to take a punt,
And that's it. And you could, because they were going so late, you could take a punt on 2 of them as well, because you could get one in like the 10th and then one in about the 12th. And, because you've got like Joshua Palmer was there as well. Quentin Johnson wasn't getting drafted at all because he was so crap for the last year or two. But, Joshua Palmer was going really late. He's doing all right. He'll do fine. Ladd was going late. The running backs were all really late. So, I mean, you could take a swing on a couple of them, and I have done in places. I have got them sneaking about there, and Dobbins has been great. It really has. Where I've got him, I'm doing well.
Well, what my favourite thing to do was, and it didn't work later on because Dobbins he actually went up a few rounds later on in drafts, but my backup running back picks, I was drafting Gus, and then the next round I was drafting Dobbins, and I did that in 80% of my leagues. But then the drafts that were going like 2 weeks, 10 days before the season started, Dobbins you couldn't do it because I tried, and Dobbins was getting picked up right after Gus. Like, you couldn't do it anymore.
One goes in the next guy, and that's it. You start the train, you need to be on the clock, you need to be on the end, don't you? You need to be on the turn.
Definitely.
So who we play next week, Johnny?
Or this week? Well, I'm up against the 6-3 Warners Bay Goonies. The Newcastle Colts.
For you, Johnny.
Yeah, the Newcastle Colts are 7-2 up against the Harrow Harlequins at 4-5. So I want Newcastle Colts to win that one. We've got the Backfoot Panthers up against the Stockholm Bengals. We can let the Stockholm Bengals with a 79 start. Got a good chance of winning that one. We've got the Glossop Fighting Gophers are up against the Godalming Goats 7-2. Got a 70-point start after Thursday night. The Whitehall White Tigers 6-3 are up against the 3-6 Buccaneers. They've got a 46-23 start. And the Solihull Sharks, who are on the win streak, are sitting at 72 points against the Duke Mueller. And the Yorkshire Finns at 3-6. Yeah. I started my kicker. I was raging because when the game started, Burrow said they were going to go for everything. So I go, well, there goes the fucking field goals, and you've got a kicker playing. So he got 4 points, but luckily Justin Tucker had a bit of a mare and only got 2 points. And he had safe levels as well. So,
Tucker, man.
I mean, they went for. Did he miss one? Did Tucker miss one and then they went for 2? Is this what happened?
Yeah.
And then he had to go for 2.
He missed an extra point.
And then they went for 2 with the next one, and that's how he only got 3. Yes, so
yeah.
I mean, it's Tucker's a funny one. I feel this year he's not been Justin Tucker, has he? He seems to be kind of falling off a cliff a little bit.
See, if Tucker was like a first-year kicker, I think the Ravens would have dropped him. But obviously he's Tucker, so that would never happen. But you know what's annoying me about him as a Ravens fan? See, when he misses kicks, his body language is fucking shite, man. He's not even sorry he's missed. He's just like, well, that just kind of happened, You know what I mean?
And that's what pissed me off about Aaron Rodgers all the time. He'd throw an interception and it just looked like he didn't care. He'd be coming off after losing and championship games and looking like he didn't care. It really annoyed me.
I tell you what, though, in this league, the teams that are on top are playing a lot of the teams that are like the losing records or worse. So if you can win your game and the other top teams win the games they're probably meant to win, you could be looking good at after this week.
Well, that's what I'm hoping anyway. But yeah, I'm hoping that CMC does well. But like Stockholm Bengals at 3-6, obviously they're going to have to get a replacement where Lawrence is out.
Yeah, but they've got Chase. It's sad, and I feel for Fraser here a little bit because he used to love this team and he's went totally off it now. He's went cold on it, and you can see why. It's on a losing streak now. You know, Bankfoot Panthers are they're on a wee bit of a losing streak now. But at 5-4, it can turn around so easily, so quickly. It just needs to find a wee win to break it, you know, and get back on the right trail. But it's a big game from this week because if he goes 5-5 and Stoke Bengals beating them, then goes 4-6 and just one behind, it's just dragging them further and further into that, for the last spot or two.
Well, if that happens, it's actually good for the guys because right now they're kind of playing for one playoff spot. But if the Bankfoot Panthers, if they do lose, like you're saying, that means there's 2 playoff spots up for grabs now, and you know.
That's that, and it's going to. It just makes it, as I say, a squeaky bum time at that point. You know, when you've been because I think the Bankfoot Panthers were like 5-2 or 5, maybe even 5-1, and they've been on a bit of a losing streak now.
Yeah, I can't find the. Gotta go into that and go different teams.
I think as well, you know yourself. See when your team's on like a decent run, or at least not on a bad run. See, trying to replace injured players, you're more upbeat about it. You're like, right, okay, I'm going to hit the waivers. I'm going to try and do this trade. I'm going to try that. See, when your team's lost 3 games and then you get injured, you're just like, like people. I know it shouldn't matter, but it does. Like, see, getting not even so much getting on a winning run, just not on a bad losing run. I think it affects fantasy so much because it does affect how you approach waivers, how you approach trades. You know,
totally. Momentum is a big thing, and it's the excitement that you know. It's always more exciting when you're winning, you know, and when you're doing well, when you're doing. But when you're on that losing streak, it's just like it becomes a hassle. It becomes work to go in and do it, you know, and make the team changes, and you have to force yourself to go and do it because you think that it's gone, and it's totally not gone. You know, at 5-4, if they could find a way to win this week, I know he's up against Chase, and it's already a big score.
And he had Higgins in his team as well, so he's obviously got 0 for Higgins because you didn't take Higgins. So the Bankfoot Panthers are down 2 games in a row. The Stockholm Bengals, who are obviously looking to win that game, they're actually currently on a 4-game losing streak, and the Gossip Fighting Gophers are on a 3-game losing streak, sitting down at 10. I like to say momentum is the key. Derek's joined us. Hi, Derek.
All right, Derek. I was going to type back to them, but I've no signed in to and I didn't want to muck about with it, and then it kicks me off this. So maybe for next time I'll get it all signed in.
No worries, but it's good to have you on, though. But yeah, this is just a rare thing if you've been off on a Sunday because the Giants are playing at 2:30. Usually I'll be working.
Well, to be fair, this is the first weekend all year I've not had my wee boy, so this is why I thought, right, I'll kind of jump on.
Good stuff. That's nice to come along. So we'll go on to Craig's division.
And Martins, thank you very much.
Yeah, Martins. At least when I'm doing it, you get the proper pronunciations, and when Port does it in President Port. So, because some of the names he comes out was fucking awful. Like, so last week's scores, we've got the top end Niners getting back and winning ways, 230.15 against the Skelmersdale Hot Dogs, 165.15. The Glenrothes Nazguls, there you go, 209.35. Not even one of your highest scores, but still. Enough to beat Chicago Scorpions 171.09. The Edinburgh Packers 218.09 against the Nairn Knights 181.89. The Darlington Rams 205.04 coming up against the Leeds Lepers 229.28. The Lee Vikings 130.03 against the 201.27 New Barstow Masters. The Preston Panthers getting a good win there, 201.70 against 189.60. There you go, 9-0.
I
will
be honest. It is a bit of a fugazi 9-0. I will go into it, but it is a bit of a fugazi 9-0.
Yeah, so 9-0. Then you've got the New Barstow Passers, the Darlington Rams and Leeds Lepers at 6-3. Top end Niners 5-4. Craig creeping up to the top 6 at 4-5.
Oh yeah, so boys in the playoffs.
Panthers, Hot Dogs, Lee Vikings at 4-5, and 3 at 2-7. So
can I just say
within there.
About 4 weeks ago, I was looking and I was like, right, okay, what's it going to be? And see the team in 9th, the Lee Vikings. I remember looking at their team thinking, God, they're going to fly up this table. And I think they're on like I think the last 6 games they've only won 1, and I'm really surprised by it. Like that 89 Mondays team, I looked at it and I thought, God, that's going to be a good team later on, and it's just not happened for them.
Yeah, they've been.
I mean, that happens often in fantasy. I'll look at some teams and I'll think that is brilliant. How is it that score? You know, I still really like my team in here, I've got to say, and Pacheco's going to come back off IR for me soon. But do you know what the big thing about this division is? And you can see it's quite tight there. But see, this week, the top 6 play the bottom 6 this week.
I was about to say the same, and so there might be a big divide soon in this league next year. I was going to bring that up.
You know, it's either going to be tighter than a nun's twat next week, or it's going to be wide open. You know, it's going to be pretty much wide open and over, because, as I say, top 6 played bottom 6. So if all the top 6 teams win, then the bottom 6 are, you know, with 4 weeks to go, are going to be struggling to get back into it. You know, obviously I will only be 5 and 4, so they'll be looking at me and saying that's a position that we can steal. But you know, if I get onto that winning way, so a massive week this week in this division.
That's a question for you, for Derek.
I don't know. What do you want me to do about it? I've not played them.
Well, you played me once.
Oh, have I? Okay.
You played me once. We're still to play again. But I'll tell you what.
Of course, you played with them with Hurts and AJ Brown in your team. That was a very, very, very nice trade.
Yeah, but to be fair, actually, see the way that I know it looks like that makes my team. I was happier with my team before that trade, weirdly enough, just because. Don't get me wrong, Hurts has been great. I can't add, but AJ's just been out injured. He's had a couple of good weeks. But to be fair, the reason why I made that trade was because of the way my team is. It was because my team has a really safe floor, like real proper. Like I think, like my lowest score, I think it might be 190. I'm not sure, but you'd have to double check. But like I always feel that I've got a really safe floor with my team. But
do you want to know your scores?
Yeah, well, just.
When did you play Craig? Oh yeah, you're 256 when you played Craig.
What does
198 is your lowest score.
Yeah, so my floor's really safe, 198. But the reason why I made that trade was because, see, when it's a high-scoring week, my team is not the best team in this league. I don't have a Chase, a Jefferson, I didn't have that. So I've actually made my team worse to be better in high scoring weeks. Does that make sense? If you know what I mean? Because my team, see, when it's a low scoring week, my team, I don't worry. I tend to like always win when it's a low scoring week. You know, like I'll win quite easily. But see, when it's a high scoring week, I'm never the highest scoring team. Like not even close. I'm not even in the top 4 sometimes. You know, like I've just been lucky. So that is, if I had, obviously I lost Rice. If I had him, this wouldn't be a problem. But in high scoring weeks, my team can definitely be had at, and that's why I traded for AJ and Hurts to try and negate that a wee bit.
I think Craig's been the highest twice.
It certainly makes our teams that much stronger, you know. And at 9-0, it's very much. I mean, it's all about the playoffs now. What happens between now and week 14 doesn't matter to who. It's to you now, Martin. You know, obviously you want to
what I'm aiming for.
One spot, but.
So if you get a bye, I believe you automatically get promoted. I think that's the way it works. I think that's
you're
right.
guaranteed promotion if you get a bye.
So believe it or not, that is my goal, is to get the bye, so get promoted. Because I'll be honest, seeing the playoffs, like I'm saying, the other 5 or 6 teams that are currently sitting in the playoffs, I think they've got a higher ceiling, than my team. Like they can score 160, 260, 280. My team can't do that, so I'm actually like, and when it gets to playoffs, I'm not that confident. Actually, I just want to get the bye, guarantee my promotion, and then you know what I mean. That'll be it. I'll be happy.
You want to keep that low. Didn't give me any of your pish, boy. You want to keep that. Oh, that's a big ass chip on that. That's a big ass chip that you've got to, you know. Well, now you're only 5 weeks away.
I tell you what, I'm about to go through a hard period because I've both my running backs and both my tight ends have got the same bye week or something, and then I play the Dalton Rams. I play them, and then on the other side I play. There's a 3-game stretch I'm coming up to where I could easily lose all 3 of those games. So it's as I'm saying, it's a bit of a fugazi 9-0. I will be honest.
You want to keep that. What you saying? It's a Philadelphia Eagles type 9-0. Is that what it is?
That's what I'm saying. Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying. It is a bit of an Eagles 9-0. It is a bit of that going on.
So, as I say, it's massive weeks this week. Hot shot hot dogs, Nairn Knights, Chicago Scorpions, Lee Vikings, Portsmouth Pirates. They've all got, every single one of them are playing against the top 6 teams. So they've got to win. It's as simple as that. If they don't win, then the league is going to open up massively. And as I say, I've taken a great start against Lee Vikings because obviously I've got Chase there. So that's all of those points are from Chase and Chase alone.
Good start for Chicago though, 48 points.
I tell you what, I feel really bad because we made that trade, and actually I think he would have got the better end of it. And then what's his name? The Bucks wide receiver. He got injured. Not the same week we got trained.
Godwin.
Godwin. He got injured the next week. So imagine, I'm saying, you make a trade and you think how different my season could have been, because I would have lost Rashie Rice and then I would have lost Godwin, and Higgins has been. So my top 3 receivers would have all been out for God knows what. This could have been, this 9-0 could have been 7-4, whatever.
It was a perfect time as well, because that first week you got them back. They both went off on one.
The first week. Yeah, the first week. But then since then, AJ's not been. He's been injured and stuff, but
pass trading though, isn't it? It's kind of one of those ones, you make that trade and you sit and you think, please don't get hurt this weekend, please don't get hurt this weekend. If you get hurt this weekend, I'm going to be gutted, so it's...
Well, he already had Baker, so he had the Baker and Godwin stack. So when he made that trade as well, he had a great week because Godwin went off as well. So it was actually kind of a good trade for both of us, but like I'm saying, I do feel guilty because Godwin got injured the week after.
So you got
you did the injury him, never feel guilty.
The one at the bottom will be a good one. The New Barstow Masters against the Preston Panthers.
No love lost in fantasy football.
They're like your team, Craig. See the Barstow Mashers, they can put up 300 points some weeks.
Yeah, they can. And it's, if you look at the receivers, you've got Hill and Wilson both there, and they're both capable of massive weeks, And that's the thing. For me, it's about you have to have a couple of those players that are capable of knocking out a 40-pointer. That's why I made the trade at the start, pre-draft.
It was me you traded with.
2 first rounders. Because I wanted to get the 2 superstars in there that can go for 40, 50 points a week, and it's, every time Chase and Jefferson go off on one, when the 2 of them go off together, I win. It's as simple as that. They just haven't done it often enough for me this year.
Oh, I'll tell you what, I'll be honest with you. See, I think the trade for both of us was kind of like, I traded back because last year I got scunnered. Actually, this year I've been scunnered with injuries as well, but because I traded back, I've been able to deal with it. But that's why I traded back, because the year before I got absolutely killed with injuries. So I like the trade fight, but see, when you pick Chase and Jefferson, I will be honest, I was like, I'm not quite sure. I was really high on Oman Ra, to be honest. But to be fair to you, you definitely picked probably the 2 best ones.
Well, I mean, I went for the two that I thought were the best wide receivers. Forget situation. I thought that I'm going to go for the 2 that I think are the best wide receivers, because the best wide receivers always get it. I almost went Hill, so glad I didn't. But in fact, I think Hill went right before I went. But I used to do it that way, Martin. I would be trading back. I was always, I'll trade back. I'll take the extra picks in the middle. I fancy more players around the middle, So this year I thought, do you know what? I'm going to take that because I want to give it a go of getting the 2 superstars and seeing what happens around that, So it's worked out very well for you sitting up there at 9-0, and I do like the fact that I've got Chase and Jefferson, because I do feel like if I can sneak myself into the playoffs, they're the types of players that can win you titles.
Oh, definitely. As I'm saying, that's definitely true.
Cool. So we'll go on to Division 4 in the East Conference. We've got the Mullhead Division. Go to week 9. So you've got the Edinburgh Thunderbirds on the losers. They'll go the 166.28 against 164.41 Plymouth Argyle Browns. The Rotherham Raiders score another 200 points and lose again. So they've got 219.69 up against 238.71. The Bedford Brewskis 205.82 up against 165.51 Yorkshire Los Muertos. Aberdeen Bucks 183.55 up against Pez's Preston Hawks, 214.02. The Kirkwall Chargers, 266.25 up against the Workshop Rookies, 214.05. And the Laxdale Legends, 164.15 to 155.48 for the Bucks Golders. You've got one team at 7-2, the Edinburgh Thunderbirds. Then you've got Kirkwall Chargers, Preston Hawks, and Aberdeen Bucks at 6-3. You've got the Laxdale Legends and Bedford Brewskis at 5-4. Then you've got Rotherham Raiders, Workshop Rookies, Borden Bears all at 4-5. The Yorkshire Flirtles at 3-6, and the Plymouth Argyle Browns and the Bucks Golders. So that's Arthur and Gary down at 11-12 at 2-7.
Oh, that's similar to the other league. That the team with 3 wins, they need to win this week. In my opinion, like they really need to win this 3-6. The Yorkshire team, but above that, 9 and above, they're all still can fancy the playoffs. You know,
this is the Rotherham Raiders who scored over 200 points most weeks, and a lot of time come up against a team that scored more 200 points worth than they have.
I'm actually in a few leagues, or I have been in the past. That I recognise his name, that Raiders, and he's actually really, he's always a solid fantasy guy in all the leagues I'm in with him.
Like at 1,900
it's
points.
Very much for this one. It's kind of one's in the playoffs. That's fine, but even at the 7-2, like you say, Martin, I didn't even give that any type of consideration. Of course, you get the bye week, you're into the semi-final, and that's you then promoted. So that's what Edinburgh Thunderbirds absolutely looking at now. It's automatic promotion now, isn't it? To top of the division, you get promoted. So that's what he'll be looking at doing now. And with the teams right behind him at 6-3, it's still a lot to play for. It's unfortunate for the 2 down the bottom, at 2-7, because it's kind of season over for them now, isn't it? I mean, you're not coming back from 2-7, and you can't get relegated because you're in Division 4. So it's kind of
all right, Grim Reaper, Halloween's past,
It's all about 2025.
You're having a bad season, but don't worry about it. It's going to get worse.
Poor Arthur is a Browns fan, so gotta get it.
Oh no! Well, I'll tell you something though about Gary, who's winning this league. So happy for him because I was in a league with him. I was in his division last year, and obviously, you could just tell by the way he drafted. He obviously new to fantasy, so he was going to always struggle just because the way he drafted. But he's obviously really learned, and that's phenomenal how well he's doing. Honestly, that's like a 1,000% increase in how well he's done. So
was it not week 11 that he won his first game last year? I think it was 0-10 or 0-11 before he finally.
To be fair, he did try and change things during the season, but it was just because I can't mind how I just remember looking at his team thinking that's hard to fix because of the way he drafted, and so obviously he's learned for it. And honest to God, he's doing so. So tell you what, I wouldn't want to be in a division with him next year.
Well, that's what I was just about to say. It's a bit getting too good too quick for my liking. I've got to say, because that's what he's doing after 1 year. We might have to kick him out in 3 years' time.
Craig's just giving him bad advice on the show. Yeah, I would drop T Hill. Terrible.
Get rid of him. Trade him. Trade him for Deontay Johnston.
How is Brandon Aubrey? I've just seen that. Brandon Aubrey's just been picked up. How is he sitting on waivers is what I'd like to know.
What the hell did he get?
That's a bit crazy, isn't it? Yeah, I mean, he's been the best kicker.
He's
been the only success story for Dallas, really, hasn't he?
It's that Washington, because I've got him. That Washington kicker has actually been the best, but surprise, just kind of injured my team is this season. Even my kicker's injured this week. I had to pick up bloody Bates.
So there's been a trade here that I wasn't informed on, even though we have to get informed.
Oh, that's wild.
Johnny, sorry. I think I've got a problem with my computer. It seems to be like a 9-0 guy's moaning about his team. There must be something wrong with my computer here.
So the Aberdeen Bucks have picked up a look on and sent Arthur, who's 2-7, Puka.
That's mad, is it not? I don't know. Well, you see why I think that's mad, right? Is that I think I've got the top scoring defensive player in Orkney right now, and it's that Spillane for the Raiders. I picked him up. I picked him up off waivers. I just see trading for a defensive player for a wide receiver like that. I think you could have picked somebody up.
100%. The waivers are full of defender players that are going to score a lot of points. I've picked up quite a few as well.
Here's another one. I'm loving to see that division's listening and actually tag him in the fucking trades. Stevie also got CD Lamb and sent Jonathan Taylor to
Johnny
tag
Taylor and
Biscuit to
Bixby.
Yorkshire Los Muertos.
Yeah, maybe it's just my personality and the way I am. But see, if I've traded for CD Lamb, I'm like an all cunt can I've done that.
Listen, who's throwing CD Lamb's a problem now? I actually quite like what Yorkshire's got out of this one with Johnny Taylor
I
and
agree.
Bixby.
In another league,
yeah.
I got offered CD Lamb just 2 days ago, and I turned it down. Even if just because actually it wasn't even so much his injury, it's just because Dark's out, and I was like, I just can't do that.
Completely. I mean, for me, and Dynasty obviously is completely different, but redraft, which is what we're in here, so that's what we're talking about. And redraft, I wouldn't go near CD Lamb with a Bards pool for the rest of this season. And that's not to say he won't have big weeks. I'm sure he will, but I just don't trust what Dallas are doing, and I wouldn't. It's not like you're going to get him for free. Do you know what I mean? It's going to cost you, and it's not. It's not a price I'd be willing to pay for CD Lamb at this point.
Well, see, if you just
Kirkwall Chargers dropped Brandon Aubrey and picked up Chris Boswell.
Okay. Boswell's actually been better than Aubrey this season.
Yeah, that's been pretty good actually. They're a better team. So, yeah.
See, it was up a bit, but Wicks has been dropped 4 days ago. It said, see if you can go into it and you hit game log. He is a player to pick up for the playoffs because I've got him and Watson, and it's because in the playoff weeks, Green Bay have got a great schedule for the playoffs. I don't know if you can see the game. I see if you scroll down here, Johnny, on this page. Right, so look who they're playing. They're playing
Seattle and New Orleans, New Orleans and then Minnesota.
And Detroit as well. So whoever's in this league and you're in a playoff, or actually if you've just got space in your roster, go and pick up Wicks, because if an injury happens to Green Bay or Wicks just ends up becoming the wide receiver too, you know what I mean? You're playing for upside, but he's got a high upside if things work out for him.
Well, man, I mean, Wicks, and he's shown to be a favourite for Love to throw to. You know, he got a touchdown in the playoffs last year, which kind of kicked it off, and he's had his big games this year. It's getting shared about in Green Bay, and it will do it, and he will have some big weeks, and one of them could very well be smack bang in those playoff weeks. You know, it's I wouldn't put anyone off, but the one that I would put off people most is Watson, to be honest with you, because I really do think he's a proper boomer bust. He has to be like a, couple of big massive touchdowns, or it's going to be nothing. But Wicks and Dobbs and Reed, they get the wee dot. That's who Love tends to be looking for more and more.
I agree with you, but just because I've got them both right now, I've been kind of paying attention to their targets, and Wicks has actually had less targets than Watson in the last couple of games, and so I'm actually going to have a problem, because hopefully when my team eventually gets healthy, I'm not going to be able to keep them both. I'm going to have to drop one of them, and you just know I'm going to drop the wrong one. This is what's going to happen. I'm going to drop the wrong one.
It's 100% a 50-50 choice on it, though, because Dubs and Reed are the 1 and 2. They are the 1 and 2. But the Wicks and Watson, as you say, that they are the 50-50 completely across the board. And I wouldn't want to have to make that decision, because you do want to hold on to one of them for sure. As you say, it's a good run at the playoffs, and they could do very well.
Toss a coin. Go with fate, toss a coin. We'll see how they're getting on in week 10. The Rotherham Raiders have got a good start against the Plymouth Argyle Browns, 46 points. Edinburgh Thunderbirds 7-2 up against the Yorkshire Los Muertos, so I don't think their trade's going to help them much when they're 67 points down already. Aberdeen Bucks 1.85. Who the hell got 1.85? Against the Bodden Bears 13.4. Oh, Deontay Johnson, one catch.
Yeah, I'm getting pelters here. I know I'm 9-0 and I'm moaning all the rest of it. I have not had a full team, not even in week 1. I've never had a healthy squad, so this is why I'm moaning. I've not been able to I've not been able to set my lineup till game day for 10 weeks.
Johnny,
I know mine's been buggered before game day, because I've had the cafe on IR for the whole bloody thing. And I had Singleton, who was a high scorer at the start, but he's been on IR since about week 3.
Sorry, I'm not even like, I don't even just mean like, obviously like IR guys, like just like stupid, like Higgins and bloody Ingram, honestly, they've just been injured the whole season, eh?
It's the fact that they don't put them on IR as well, you know, and it's you need them. You want them to go on IR so you can put them
exactly.
9-0. Yeah, all obviously Kirkwall Chargers, who got a nice 83-point start over the Bedford Brewskis, and you got Pez.
Is that the Chase? Is that the Chase Burrow stack, Johnny?
No, it'll be more than that because Chase is 67. Burrow will be about 40 odd, is he not?
Well, so he would have been so it won't be.
So 67 points for Chase, and I think he had a defender. You know, yeah.
Oh, aye, Wilson
15 because Martin had Wilson. I'm pretty sure.
I've got Wilson as well. He's scored that.
Who's got Chase?
It's a big start for Kirkwall Chargers, and as you say, Bedford Brewskis at 5-4. That's one that they're going to get dragged into the dogfight if they don't find a way to win this game. And it's
the team that deserves to be in the top half, obviously, is Rotherham Raiders, who started off with 46 points with the. But he's got Williams, Kamara, Hill, Otton, Ingram. Ingram should get plenty of targets with the backup with Jones.
Yeah, well, that Hollins, he's picked up Hollins as well, and he's going to be a good. That's a good pickup because they're all injured at wide receiver. But that's a hard game. That I was saying that Yorkshire, they need to win this week, and they're playing Gary, so they're going to need their players to show up.
Yeah, I think even if they show up, they're not going to catch up on that one. I think. Yeah. There we go. Derek saying first world problems.
And that's what I was saying.
Believe it, Derek. You better believe it.
Yeah, me too. I've had Cup out, and obviously CMC. At least they're all back now. So yeah, that's
I mean, there has been a load of injuries this year, and it's you can see the team. You know, the teams that have avoided them. You can see that you know they're the ones that are right up there in the main. You know, it's been a year where. And as you say, Martin, it's not even been like IR. It's not been big ones. It's just been a wee niggly, stupid things that will sat them down for a couple of weeks, and it's been annoying.
It's just like the Jaguars with Travis Etienne as well. Like he obviously loves Tank Bisgay for whatever reason. He loves him, right? If he loves him that much, why did they not just give Travis 4 weeks on IR to get healthy? You know what I mean? See, for me, Doug Peterson has to get sacked. It's not even the results. It's just the way he's managing the Jaguars.
He'll see out the season, I don't think, because the Jags up there, the Jags are going downhill fast for me, and I called it at the start of the season. I said I wasn't interested in any Jags players apart from Brian Thomas this year in the draft, not one. I am so out on them, and I'm so happy that I am.
I tell you what, that was a doomed draft pick for me because I was between Travis Etienne and Pacheco. That was the two players I was deciding on, and so Travis has been nothing, and Pacheco got injured. So I mean, I was doomed either way.
Pacheco's on my IR. Thanks for that.
He's on my IR in our home league. Thanks for that. So we'll go on to the West Conference before we've only got we've got 45 minutes till the game kicks off.
Well, yeah,
let's Happy Valley. So we've got Dollar Destroyers 223.40 against the Gothenburg Angels 229.05. Pretty sure K. Dotton helped with that one. Purple Raiders 171.96 against 199.48. Which Whitford Educators. Royal Raiders, Aaron still on holiday, 151.70 against the Turbo Bowl Titans, 206.44. But she's bound to have started. I'm pretty sure he's got Barrow and Chase for week 10. Yeovil Winners, 241.06 against 194.12. Bonnie Red Cowboys. Kirkwall Cowboys, 239.14 against the Melbourne Supremacy, 192.26. And then the South London Rebels, now 8-1. 197.27 up against the Bognor Regis Falcons, 170.17.
That was a big one for Kirkwall because it's dragged that other team closer to them. That was like a 2-point game, that one.
Yeah, so obviously South London Rebels 8-1, and you got Darlow, Bognor Regis, and Yeovil all 6-4. Gothenburg Angels, Melbourne Supremacy, and Bonnie Red Cowboys at 5-4. Then you got the Kirkwall Cowboys at 4-5. Like you say, dragged them closer. And you got the Turbo Titans, Royal Raiders at 3-6, Whitford Educators 2-7, and the Kirkwall Raiders 1-8, who are actually looking a bit better this week. So,
see, the problem with this league for the guys that are lower down is that the closest playoff spot's 5-4. So
yeah,
like in some leagues, they've only got 4 wins in some leagues, but that last spot's only got 5. So it's just a bit harder in this league. It shows you because this is the first division. So.
I think all they've got to be thinking about now is hanging about the playoffs to stay in the division. Because you're not going to get to the top one.
It's chasing down. It's when you're chasing that one spot and say, it's always nice. It's always a wee bit more comforting and easier if you're chasing, 2 or 3 spots and right up to 4th is all tight, But when you've got that week and it's only like kind of 5th or 6th that you're chasing, it makes it that wee bit harder as well, So it's the teams down in the bottom half here really need to start winning pretty quickly. The Turbanville Titans have got to win this week, put themselves 3 and 6. So if Everett can go and find a win this, get on a wee run, a wee bit of momentum as well, he's got a chance of getting himself back in it. But the likes of Aaron, who's Royal Raiders, who's 3 and 6 now, they look like they're on a downhill slope, So it's going to be tough for him to turn that round now. I would say that he's going to be looking at trying to stay in the division,
Well, the only team with a winning streak is the Gothenburg Angels. They're in a 3-game win streak. Everybody else is either 1 win, 1 loss. Yovo's 2 wins. Obviously, Kirkwood Raiders started the season 1-0, but now sitting at 1-8. So, Guru Allen's had a bit of a bad year, and I've not even bumped into my Tesco's this year, so you can't blame me for that.
It's not your fault. But the South London Rebels, certainly they're Oscar to the playoffs, 8-1, probably the second best record in the OrkneyBowl at the moment.
Behind somebody
behind
below me and above you.
Behind the guy who's moaning about his injuries.
All season, boys, all season.
Well, I wish I had your problem.
Just think how much greeting I'm going to do when I come back on and I'm 9 and 3.
Jeez, I'm worried about next season when you're 3 and 9.
I think we'd have to mute him on that one, I think. We just have him crying in the background.
But yeah, who they playing this week, Johnny?
Well, there's a very fun game this week with the Darlow Destroyers 6 and 3 and the 3 and 6 Turbo Titans, because it's 76 points to 125.
I tell you what, there's
Everett's team, so he has the stack.
But he came up against Lamar and Chase Brown.
Oh,
that's just nuts, isn't it?
That is mad, eh? That's what an even. Imagine you wake up and you're like, oh, I'm against Burrow and Chase, and you look at your team. Oh, I've got Lamar and Chase Brown. That's mental.
This would be the one when it goes all of the memes saying if you're up against Chase, you're guaranteed to lose. He's no guaranteed to lose this one. This is a scary thing. But yeah. I tell
you what though, the Kirkwall, this is what we're talking about, momentum. The Kirkwall, they won last week and they dragged that team closer to them. And this week they're against the team that's right below them. So if they win again, that's 2 wins and they're going to be right close to the playoffs. So if they can just win this week, they'll be fancying their chances to really make a push.
Oh, definitely.
I would say so, yeah.
These close matchups, when you're playing teams around you, if you just win one of them, it's a 2-point game, and then before you know it, and you win the next week, and it's another 2-point game, you've actually gained 4 points of 2 weeks. It can really change if you can win these close games.
So then see the game down the bottom there as well, the Melbourne Supremacy against the South London Rebels. That's huge in the context of winning the league, and topping the league. Because if Melbourne can win that game and they look like they're favourite to do so, and just get South London Rebels that wee bit closer, it'll open it right up for the top, Yeah,
because I think there's a team 6 and 2, so.
3 teams that's 3 at 6 and 3.
3 teams 6 and
4. 6 and 3, sorry.
But then the thing is, if you look at that, Bognor Cowboys are predicted to beat the Bognor Region Falcons, who are also 6 and 3, and they're currently sitting in 7th. So you really need
that's a big one for Graham. If Graham's going to make the playoffs, he needs to win this one this week. I think if he loses this one and goes 5 and 5 with the way that other teams are going, it's it's a long way, and he'll be looking over his shoulder at Kirkwall Cup Cowboys, who are on the win, are winning now, and Turbanville Titans as well. If they get the win here this week and that's get their second in a row, and the Chase Burrow stack looks like it's going to start paying some dividends pretty quick, so. There are still positives for the ones down there, but they do need to. The winner has to start now.
I'm trying to figure out what the expensive mistake was, but anyway, the Darlow Destroyers have scored over 2,000 points. They're a very high scoring team.
Oh, it'd be funny. A day ago, somebody's claimed a player for $51. Who's still got $51 of fab left? Like, I didn't have that week too.
I've had no fun. I've not been able to pick anybody up on agency except when it's free since about week 4.
Oh,
I'm watching all these players get picked up for $1, and I'm like, I just want $1.
I meant to bring this up actually. In our division, the Marshers, they made the same mistake I made last season, and the reason I remember it, I spent all my fab, right, and there's a minimum of $1 fab spend in this league, so you can't claim players until So when I spent all my fab, I actually left myself 20 fab or whatever on purpose, just so I could make $1 bids.
Your $1 bids, yeah.
Aye. Well, the Marshals, they've made the same mistake I've made, and they can't. So they're having to pick players up on a Sunday, and they've had to do it most of the season, and it's a nightmare because I had to do it last season.
In fairness, they can pick players up on a Thursday after waivers, and they can pick players up from Saturday and Sunday and Monday because all those days are free agency after waiver.
Aye, sorry, I just mean like they can't bid at the same time as anyone else. And it is I had to do it last season. It's actually something you learn, and you're like, you never do it again. You know, that's why I left myself.
Well, you said that about the Gus bus sitting in my free agency. I can't pick him up until bloody Thursday, and nobody picks him up because I've no money left. Yes, Derek. Craig's obviously going for a quick piss before he digs into your team.
Well, we can, if you want to go over this.
We'll go through it. We'll go through the scores anyway. So
it's just because I know your beloved Giants.
I've got Game Pass on the TV in the background. That's why I keep on watching it. So
right, okay.
So the double
is it a break between games today? Is it just like Giants and then it's straight onto the normal Sunday games, or is there like a wee break?
It depends on what time it finishes. The last one finished about 5:45, so it's pretty close to basically start right away. So. Right. This is me until 5 and 4 in the morning. So.
Oh, God.
I'm off on a Monday, so I'm all right. I'm off on Tuesday too, so I can watch the Monday night game too.
Oh, that's all right. I didn't get to see Thursday night and Monday night. I didn't get to see them.
No, I did stay up on Thursday night. I was a bit tired at work because I was set for an hour.
Yeah, Derek's Del Boy Baxter, eh?
Yeah. This one, I feel...
What's he moaning about? He's won this week.
Yeah, it was pretty close. So yeah, the Dobos Dollar Dive. I feel sorry for Dobos Dollar Dive. I want them to win a game, and we all wanted them to beat Derek, but obviously it didn't happen. Sorry, Derek.
I mean, he won with 108 points. He barely bloody won.
173.49 against the Kilmarnock Kings. 180.10. The Whitford Warriors. 191.55 against the Glasgow Lightning. 208.81. The Bonnyrigg Cheeseheads. 214.34 against the South Carolina Broncos. 229.38. 173.99 against the Lancashire Bombers against the Crew Juggernauts, 195.28. Southampton Dockers, 151.69 against the Dickensheath Demons, 224.36. And the Belfast Benchwarmers, 237.10 against the Portland Lumberjack. This is the division where it's really close.
By the way, this is the most mad. This is like I said it earlier, this is the division you want to be in. Derek, I am so jealous. You've got mad trades. Everyone is 6-3. Like, what more could you? This is what you want in fantasy football. This is what you want. This is what fantasy football is meant to be like. And you see all those teams. They were like, why are they trading for that? If every team's if the top team's only 6-3, I think every team must be playoff bound still.
Well, you've got 6-3, and the 11th place is 4-5. So there's 2 games between top and second bottom. And you've got the poor Dobos Arlers at 0-9.
Oh, this is just crazy.
Yeah, I know, at 9, because you get one team that's getting licked every week and everyone's getting the wins off of that, so it's it does keep everything tight. But yeah, this is tight. Any team could still win this division and get that automatic promotion right down to 11th, like you say. And it's as you say, Martin, that's why the trades are flowing, because people are trying to get that wee one up and get that wee bit better, make their team that wee bit better. So yeah, very, very interesting division, this one.
Yeah, so for the audio purposes, I'll go through the standings. Dickensheath Demons at 6-3, the Crew Juggernaut 6-3, South Carolina Broncos 6-3, Kilmarnock Kings 6-3, Glasgow Lightning 5-4, Belfast Benchwarmers 5-4, Lancashire Bombers, Portland Lumberjacks, Bonnyrigg Cheesehead, Whitchurch Warriors, and Southampton Dockers all 4-5, and the poor Dobos Darlow Diamonds at 0-9.
So let's have a look at Derek's team. Let's click into it since he is here. So it would be rude not to.
He's expected
Walker on bye week this week. And he's got that Goff Gibbs stack. It's that whole quarterback running back stack I'm not a fan of. But I mean, if you're going to do the quarterback running back stack there, you would rather do Goff and Gibbs than Goff and Montgomery, because Gibbs is more the catching back, you know.
I think as well, Goff
This week.
fell in a lot of drafts, so he didn't really spend anything for him, I think. So, you know. Schultz is honestly, I've got Schultz in another league. He's just he's just a nothing, eh? He's just like 6 points. That's what Schultz is, just 6 points every week. Eh?
He's just so slow and cumbersome for me, you know. He doesn't look like the player that kind of was the last couple of years. I think he's definitely lost a kind of beat or two, you know, this season.
I tell you what, I never drafted, and they show me the keeper. I never drafted a tight end, and I've got Jono Smith. He should be just play Jono Smith instead of Schultz. Honestly, Jono Smith's he's probably going to get 5-6 targets every game. Eh?
He's certainly Tua does seem to be kind of liking him at tight end. He's never really been a fan of the tight end Tua. You know, it was always a problem for Sticky Gesicki when he was there. You know, that he just you could see that he could play, he just wasn't getting the ball very often. So that would be the problem with Smith. But Jono seems to be getting the targets, like you say, you know, 5-6 a game, which is more than enough for a tight end.
Yeah, so it was good, but it's a close win, but he did enough to win. That's all that matters. So Derek will be happy to swap the 9-0. She don't think that's going to happen. Let's see who's got who in week 10 then.
Yeah,
the Whitford Educators are up against the Kilmarnock Kings, so 4 or 5 against 6 and 3, and it looks like the Whitford Educators are projected to win. Derek, have you sorted your team? Oh, he's got Khalil Herbert, got nothing.
Oh,
no, because he lost Slayton as well, and he's also lost.
See that Gesicki, that was a good play. See when Higgins doesn't play, Gesicki's actually a really good play. But he's one of those ones. See if Higgins plays, Gesicki gets nothing. Eh?
Yeah, it was Hudson that got it this week, though. That was his problem. It was Hudson that got all the points. You know, he got a good. I've got him in. You know, the Plymouth charity one. I've got him in that Hudson, but I don't even know how the hell I ended up with him in my team. But he's in that baseball team, and he scored me about 25 points this week. And I'm right up there in it as well.
You're no joking, Derek. You're bar one player, they're all on a bye.
You've got by him again.
You might. To be fair, you're in a. Yeah, it looks like you're probably going to lose this week, but who knows? You might win, but it looks like you're probably just going to have to eat this one. But because of your record, I mean, you can afford to, and it's so tight. Like, you can lose this game, and then you've had all your players on bye, but you've got them out of the way. So it's not the worst thing, because I know 6 and 3 doesn't sound great, but the rest of your division's the same. So if you lose this, you had all your buys now. You're in a really good place, to be honest.
So the Dobos Dollar Diamonds have got 95 points or something to start. They've got Jamar Chase and McPherson, the kicker, and Roquan Smith with 23 points, but they're up against the Lamar Jackson. So you're sitting at 0-9. You've got 95 points to start, and you're still projected to lose. It's a bit unlucky.
It's a bit harsh. And you know, the whole entire league wants Dobos Darlow's Diamonds to win one apart from Carolina Broncos now, you know.
He's only predicted to lose by 4 points. He's got a good chance of winning that game.
But he's had 4 players played, I think.
Yeah, he's been tight many weeks, but
he has been a bit unlucky.
The whole league wants him to win apart from the Carolina Broncos, obviously, but the 6 and 3s in here, you know, they're nearly there. At the end of the day, see if they do lose. If someone came to you at the start of the season and says, "Well, just skip forward 10 weeks and you're 6 and 4, will you take it?" You would snap their hands off. You would take it every single day of the week, you know. So the ones that are 6 and 3, as you say, they can't afford to lose one. You don't want to. You want to get over the line as soon as you can. But if you lose it, it's not, you know, it's no time to lose any sleep, you know. If you're 4 and 6 and you lose, it's kind of, that's season over. If you're 6 and 3 and you lose, it's what's next.
See, this is the league where, see, if you win 2 weeks back to back, you are in such a different position than you. Like, your team's just like transformed, eh? Like, you win 2 weeks back to back, you are flying in this league.
The South Carolina Broncos are on a 5-game win streak.
2 weeks. The flip side of that is, if you lose 2 weeks in a row, you're dead.
Yes, that is the other side of it.
Oh yeah, the Southampton Dockers are on a 3-game losing streak. The Broncos are a 5-game win streak, and the Glasgow Lightning are a 2-game win streak. So they've shot up. The Belfast Benchwarmers winning last week jumped up 3 spots to 6th spot.
That's
That's how
mad.
close it is.
Aye, but a shout out to this
but-
league, though. What a league. What a division. Well done, boys.
That is a good one.
Well done, boys.
Not if you're going to miss out by like 2 points, it's going to be raging. But so we'll go to the Marwick Heads. We've got Norwich Mustard Men, 205.25 against the Peterhead Bloody Jets, 157.89. The Carwick Porkers.
Every time you say that name, I've just thought you've been saying bloody Jets because it's the Jets. It's actually their name.
He's a Jets fan, that's why he's called it Peterhead Bloody Jets. The Carwick Porkers 107.93 against the Sandbach Fates 314.83. So Port could play his team twice and still come up about a third short. Guildford Raptors, 213.15 against the Birmingham Master Chiefs, 274 in the same division. Chester Hurricanes 236.58 against the Gorgie Bikers on this. 167.84. Garlington Dragons 201.58 against 173.14. And the London Eagles, who are now, I think it's a 7-game win streak, 192.91. So the London Eagles at 92, 7-2. Birmingham Master Chiefs at 6-3, along with the Norwich Mustard Men, Sandbach Satans, and the Darlington Dragons. Chester Hurricanes at 5-4, along with the Nottingham Rebels. In the 8th place, you've got the Wakefield 49ers at 4-5. Then you've got the 3-6 Peterhead Bloody Jets and Carwick Porkers, 2-7 Guildford Raptors, and the 1-8 very hungover and probably dying today, Mr. Groat Gorgie Vikings.
Working today, no working today.
Is he working? Oh boy. Jeez.
I don't think Port's going to do a show in the morning because he just drove off a bridge.
You know what? You've got to take your hat off to the guy who is getting absolutely spanked every week. He's probably got the worst fantasy team in fantasy football history, and he still shows up to do his show every week on a Monday. I doff my cap to the man, I've got to say.
Well, he was loving it last week because he had a better record than me because I was sitting at 2-6.
Oh,
with a better team. But
this is another one where the playoff, I think the last spot's got 5 wins. So see these 3-6 teams, you want to give them, it's hard now. See, even if they win 2 games, they need these guys to lose 2 weeks in a row. So see 9th down, it's going to be I wouldn't be too confident for these guys, but 8th place and up, I would say, if you've got the 4 and 5, if he needs to win this week. I think that this is getting close to a must win for him.
well, that's the Sandbach Satans are in a 3-game win streak as well.
Knowing what I mean, the 2 and 7 and 1 and 8 are gone. Forget about it. Knowing the squads of the 2, 3 and 6s here, I would say they're gone now. I'm ruling them out. I think it's 8th and above here are playing for the playoff spots now, to be honest. And as you say, Martin, Wakefield Niners, they really need to get the win this week. They need to get back on it. They need to win and hope that one of the other 2 above them are losing, and maybe get one of these 6 and 3s onto a losing streak quickly. But
the Darlington Dragons are in a 5-game win streak. So
who's top of this one?
Become a kind of freeway battle for 2 places.
7-game
freeway battle for 1 place.
7-1 win streak. Christ.
Yeah, there was 0 and 2, and they're nothing. But yeah, they've just been flying. The Birmingham Master Chiefs are probably one of the highest. They are the highest scoring team, 1,900 points. So they've been pretty steady.
Yeah, 6 and 3s are nearly there.
So the Carwick Porkers are up against.
The 3 and 6s aren't quite dead. Then the winner might have a chance to get back into it.
That's it. They do. They will. One of them will have that slither of hope. One of them will.
Yeah.
So Kelly could be very chirpy tomorrow if he's got a good lead going into Monday night. Well, that means nothing in fantasy football. Norwich Mustard Men are up against the Birmingham Master Chiefs, 2 6 and 3s. Chester Hurricane 5 and 4 against the Sandbach Satans. That could be a high scoring game. Look at the start already. Darlington Dragons are up against the 2 and 7 Guildford Raptors, and they're predicted to win. So a bit of momentum on that one. The Gorgie Vikings 2 points. Looks like a football game, 2-3. Against the Wakefield 49ers 3.45. And the Nottingham Rebels 5 and 4 up against the top team London Eagles, who are predicted to lose.
I tell you what I'm saying. That Nottingham Rebels, they'll really want to win this week because then that really closes that division with the Eagles having 3 losses. So everyone in that league will be wanting the Rebels to win this week to really close it up.
Yeah.
It'll certainly. I mean, for playing for automatic promotion in the top, it's absolutely close as close can be. You know, it's. But if the Wakefield, I can see that Wakefield Niners are projected to lose against Grote. That would be a massive loss for them. If they lose there, you can pretty much put a hole in their chances. You know, of that would be them at least 2 behind with 4 to play type thing. You know, 2 down with 4 to play is hard to come back from.
My Hawkeyes just caught something here, so if you're listening from this division, I've got maybe a league-winning suggestion here. Somebody has just dropped the top scoring defensive player in the league, Robert Spillane, in this league. So go spend your time and pick him up, because he scores. Last week he had a bad week, he only scored 12 points. Every other week he scores 20 points a week pretty much. So go spend your fab and go and get him.
20, yeah. That's mental.
Go get him.
I wonder if he dropped him because he's on a bye week.
He's on a bye. He is. Yes, he's on a bye.
I'm hoping he's going to get him back again. I've had to do that before. It never works.
No, it's got me on a couple of leagues too. But yeah, so there could be a couple of upsets. So if the Guildford Raptors somehow beat the Darlington Dragons and Gorgie Vikings somehow beat the Wakefield 49ers.
Well, by predictions, Pork only has to score 160 points to win. If his team can't score 160 points, he's only got himself to blame.
Well, he hasn't quite a lot this season. That's the problem with Pork.
Mum, his team can. He scored 160 points, and he's only got himself to blame.
Pork scoring this year is 136.11, 142.37, 189.41, 165, 176. 87.42, the lowest score ever in the OrkneyBowl, I think it is.
Oh, yeah, boy.
136.56, 225.71, a good score. That was against the Gorgie Vikings, and 137.93. So 1, 2, 3, 4 times he's been above 150. And one of the times he got 136 in week 1 and he won against 126.
He's got 3 bloody wins. That's the kicker. He's got 3 freaking wins.
I know. That
is pretty funny.
Well, if he did that week, he said his team were really good when he had Jonathan Taylor and that they all came back. That's when he scored 225.
Yeah, that's when he got his tail. Yeah, because Puka came back and done okay that week as well. And I think Allen had a game that week.
Yeah, so he's got Herbert.
Yes,
he's got Herbert, Taylor, Nakua, McConkey. Well, he's got McConkey and Johnston playing.
At the end of the day, it really doesn't matter what kind of you've got there now. As long as you get players that are starting and playing, whoever wins that game has got a chance of getting back into it. No matter how slim the chance it is, the winner of that game can still make the playoffs and the loser cannot. It's that simple. So it's that kind of, it's a massive game.
So we'll go on to the last conference now. The Dwarfy Stain. We've got the Manchester Spinner. Oh, that's the sweet score. Day 1-9. The Birmingham Bears 223.05 against the previous run of the Bluetooth Texans. I think they were like on a 4-game win streak, 192.54. Manchester Spinners 210 points against the Plymouth Assassins, 173.20. Fullwood Patriots 137.24 against the Not Cold Knockouts, 201.21. The Rhino Cardinals 198.55 against the Bangham Sharks, 179.49. Gloucester Wolfpack 179.56 against 197.60 the Cork Red Army. Kew Kings 206.60 against the Lagersville Lemons, 248.45. So you've got the Birmingham Bears and the Rhino Cardinals at 7-2. Lagersville Lemons at 60-5. You've got the Bluetooth Texans, the Manchester Spinners, the Cork Red Army, and the Not Cold Knockouts all at 5-4. Gloucester Wolfpack, Bangham Sharks at 4-5. Then you've got the Kew Kings, Fullwood Patriots, and Plymouth Assassins at 2-7. I can safely say those are probably out of it now, even if it is only 2 games.
Yeah, that Cork Red Army, that Cork Red Army, that was a big win for them. That really, because that was a team that was close to them.
Yes, I mean, this is very tight. Again, you obviously rule out the bottom 3 now. I would say that it's season over for them, but everybody else is very, very tight, and it's right up. If the 7-2, the 2 7-2s and the 6-3, if they go away. It's still 3 places that are being played for, and it's so tight down there that any one of them could, anyone down to 8th. So it's between kind of 4th and 8th for 3 places. What to play for?
The Cork Red Army are on a 4-game win streak, as are the Rainy Cardinals. So
yeah, Cork Red Army have been doing well of late, haven't they?
Here's another pickup for some. I know he's injured, so I don't know what the full story is, but Austin Saber, that's the Washington kicker. He's the top scoring kicker in the league, and somebody's dropped him. So if you've got space, whatever, you didn't like your kicker, go and pick him up.
Yeah, because
my problem with that one. My problem with that one, and what I'm always looking at with the kicker, is where do they play? Because see, now we're coming into the winter, and we're into November now. The weather's going to, start getting a lot colder in Washington and a lot harder to, and it's that kind of puts me off. I want my kicker to be in a dome or on the West Coast, or somewhere that's nice and sunny at least, or Miami or something. I want my kicker to be indoors or in the heat.
That's true. I think the thing with Sabre as well, though, what's good for kickers tends to be, see if you play with a rookie quarterback, most of them struggle in the red zone. That's where they struggle. So I think that can maybe outweighs it a wee bit.
It can do. Another thing about playing with a rookie quarterback as well is they're less inclined to go for it on 4th down, 4th and 1, 4th and 2. Yeah. They're more likely to kick that field goal if it's a close game, just because it's a rookie quarterback. You don't want to put them in those positions.
Although the fact they do seem to they'd probably let Jaden Daniels go for it at the moment because he's playing that bloody well.
I'm not saying this, like, he's picked up a good kicker here. I'm not saying it's a bad move, and this is not like the Spillane one. Like Spillane, honestly, just go and pick him up. You have to. This one is like, look, if you've got an average kicker or whatever, go and pick this guy up. I know he's out this week, but go and pick him up.
I mean, that'll be a proper. He's on by. No, Washington aren't on by, are they? I take it Jake Mooney's back then. That he's been picked up.
Yeah, well,
I'm not sure. I picked up.
I think he's questionable. Yeah.
That for me. That's I want a guy that's in the sun as opposed to a guy that's in the freezing cold and snow.
Plus the fact Cyber's a week 14 bye. I think Washington a week 14 as well. So he's got.
Yeah, I picked up.
Are they week 14? Are they?
It was Bates I picked up because I put him on IR obviously, and I picked up Bates, but he's not like his scoring's not great. But I just thought he's on a good offense, so hopefully.
Detroit, is it?
Yeah, Detroit. I know, but they're so good in the red zone, so it's like I'm just hoping
he'll go for 2.
I'm hoping he's got a safe floor. He'll just get like 6 extra points or something,
Yeah. Dan Campbell's the one just for running up the scores. He'll just go for 2 points for the hell of it, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, God, I know. He's a bad man, that Dan Campbell. Yeah,
he's brilliant. He's so outfit. It's just awesome.
If I were Detroit, I wouldn't even bother having a punter.
You know what's great about Detroit in the league right now? Like, obviously, I'm Ravens, and so it doesn't apply to me. But see, if you support a team and they're not great, you've got the Lions there, and you can just make them your second team because what's not to love about them? You know what I mean?
I enjoy watching them.
Not to love about them. Absolutely fucking everything is not to love about them.
Well, obviously,
the city is disgusting. The people are. No, I'm only joking.
He's not bitter, but he is a Green Bay fan. So they're so fun to watch. I enjoy watching them.
I do enjoy watching them. As we said, they are, and of the other 3 in the division, they're the ones that I have the least distaste for, probably because I've not challenged this in a long time, But they certainly, I hate the Bears and I hate the Vikings, but I don't hate the Lions as much as you would think I would,
I do remember last year, and they showed me the money live draft. I just didn't keep any keepers. I just wanted to start fresh, and the team was pissed. And with the 104, I think it was, I picked up Jahmyr Gibbs, and I got a bit of a slagging for that one, if I remember rightly, Craig and Doug. But he is my keeper, and he will be my keeper for a year, so I'm quite happy with that one. So my team is still pissed, but I wanted to get him because I knew in a 16-team league he wasn't going to make it back to me in the second round, even with the keepers. So.
Oh no, never. I'd just be surprised if I slagged you off for that one. That must have been Doug, Johnny. But that's a nice start for Michael. Is that Michael got the Burrow Chase Bluetoon Texans? Is that them got Burrow Chase?
So a nice start for the old Bluetoon Texans. We've got Burrow, Chase, and
I think that'll be it. Just Burrow and Chase.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's a
114 points
great
or two
start. I mean,
players.
it's effectively winning you. You know, if you lose from that position, it would be harsh. You know, so at 5-4, that's going to be a great win for the Bluetoon Texans and the push that they need. You know, with you know, after this week, it's what we in week 10, so it's 4 weeks to go after this week. 4 weeks that's not a lot of games. You know,
and obviously the next one up, the
Yeah,
Birmingham
there's a
Bears in the
seven.
knockouts. They were the two new boys this year. They took over people leaving. So you've got to think Birmingham Bears get to 8-2. Plymouth Assassins are predicted to beat Ryan the Cardinals.
That's a big win if they get that. Like, it's not really going to change their season, but it's going to affect the Cardinals.
it's going to affect. Yeah, that's the thing. It's going to just keep the Cardinals looking over their shoulder.
Here, can I just actually, I mentioned this on the Pork Show, but the Birmingham Bears, surely we call them the Brummy Bears. You know, the Brummy Bears. It's just better in all ways. Well, let's get a vote on this.
But the Birmingham Bears, his dad runs the Dick and Heath Demons, who's doing well in Division 2. So because Mark was in it last year, but when somebody left, Mark said that his son wanted to join us, and Jack's in a couple of leagues as well. So he's actually not bad. So he's doing well for his first year.
He's doing really well.
I'm sure.
So yeah, he's
well, that'd be great. Imagine how good it would be, like, to beat your son at something. It'd just be the best thing in the world.
It's fantastic. You know? Yeah, it's absolutely fantastic. You never want to let him win it. Listen, see these pushy parents that give their kids chances and stuff like that. What are you going to learn if you get a chance? It's like play the game. Do you know what I mean? You
it's just popped up on my iPad there that
learning.
Trevor Lawrence could be out for the rest of the season. So it might be.
That looks like that is going to be the case. Which, to be fair, it doesn't. If anything, it makes players like the ones like, let's be honest, the only player you're really looking at in that team right now is Ingram. It just means he's going to get even more volume probably. So it's probably not the worst thing.
I dropped him in a league last week as well. Trevor Lawrence is out for the rest of the season.
Oh, is it? So
it's a true story. I used to play Black 5 with my dad all the time, right? Up at, like, even from the age of like 5. I didn't win my first game till I was like 19 or something, you know? He used to smash me every day.
Listen, see with my dad.
Bill's character.
When I was 5 years old, right, I could barely pick up a badminton racket and we're down playing badminton and I'd just about get the thing back and he'd come in and smash it in my face, you know? And my mum would be standing aside and she'd be saying, give him a chance. And my dad would shout back, he'll not learn if he gets a chance. But he was right, because I didn't like it. A shuttlecock smash in my face. So in order to stop that, I had to learn how to hit it back. But as you say, it gets on you. I mean, my handicap was, I was in single figures and my dad was off 13, 14 and I still couldn't beat him, because it was just that, you know, beating your dad thing, you just can't do it. It took me way longer than it should have done. Get over that hump. But yeah, that's us then, Johnny. That's week 9 in the bag now. We're motoring along. It's will be double digits after the end of this day. It'll be double digit weeks in, and you know most teams are still involved at some point or another. You know, there's a couple of teams in Division 4s that are kind of, you know, that's just what happens when you're in Division 4. I'm afraid if you have a bad season, it's on to next year. But everybody else is always stuff to play for still, you know. So it's very interesting. It'll be very interesting to see how things go and just how many more trades start flowing. You know, if that's kind of, you know. You always find that it takes a wee while to get them going, but once a couple get going, it starts the ball rolling, doesn't it? And you get more and more. So it'll be interesting to see if we get any more trades through the week.
Yeah, so, well, I'm going to have to.
On your team 2 weeks ago, you a bit more confident now?
I still don't. I've never hated the team, Martin. You know, I've been very vocal on the fact that I quite like the team. It's just hadn't been overly performing. But yeah, I mean, I feel like I've got as good a team as when I look around the team, the teams that are, you know, kind of looking for that last couple of playoff spots in our division. I feel like I'm one of the better squads. So yeah, I mean, I fancy getting into the playoffs, and if I get into the playoffs, I fancy I've got the squad that can do some damage because I'll have Pacheco back as well, you know, and with Chase and Jefferson there, the two of them combined, sometimes it can be special.
Oh boy!
Yeah, I wonder if you're going to get that week when they both go off.
Gary's beating you in the show with the keepers. I see you're top of that one too there. That's nice.
But I see that show me that I'm so just that league. I know I sound like a miserable bastard. I'm 6-3 and I'm doing all right, but
Yeah,
that league,
you're in my division, you miserable bastard. But...
I know, but it's like
you realise that I'm just happy you realise you sound like a miserable bastard.
Honestly, I've been killed by injuries, again in that league. It's just like, that's my first 16-team league, and I don't know if I would do it again just because I played somebody last week. I've got 3 boys in IR, and they had like a full squad to pick for, and I'm just like, what's going on here? You know, so that league.
That's 16
that's why it's not a massive bench. You can't have a big bench with 16-team league.
It's.
I'm dying in that one too. I'm doing terrible in there.
The thing with that is though, it's only you get 2 keepers and then you start fresh, and they take up.
I traded for Eamon Russell Brown, so I've got him as a keeper at least.
Well, Craig last year had studied a team. He had the choice of Jonathan Taylor,
Bartley, Taylor, and Achan.
Which 2?
Bartley, Taylor, and Achan, and I could only keep 2, so I've let Bartley go.
That's hard. I would have went Barkley and Achan personally, but it's just because you know what, I'm probably too low on Taylor. Like I think I don't rate him highly enough. Like that's my problem. Like I probably should think he's a better player than what he is for fantasy.
It was between Bartley and Taylor. It was between Bartley and Taylor, and the reason I went with Taylor is because I didn't like the fact I don't like when a veteran running back leaves the team that he's been at all his career and goes somewhere else. I always smell something dodgy there. You know, it's like why are they letting him go if he's at? You know, he must have lost a beat, and then they're going into a new team. It often doesn't work out. You know, I'm looking at Le'Veon Bell. I'm looking at kind of. When Peterson left Minnesota, it kind of went downhill. You know, when they go to a different team, it tends to be on the slippery slope. So that's why I went with Taylor, because he was in the same team that he was last year, and it was obviously a mistake. But what can you do?
This season it's been opposite because you've had Barkley left, done great, Henry left, great, and then Aaron Jones, he's the same. He's done great. It's weird.
Yeah, and that's the thing. They have done quite the ones that have done it this year, and I was totally cold on Jones because of that reason as well. You know, the movement. Jacobs, I was fine with because he's only 26, and he's I know he feels like he's been in the league forever, but he's not. He's only 26 years old. He was still on his rookie contract. You know, it was so
really.
That one, I was more confident that he would do okay, but like Sir Jones in that, I thought they wouldn't do well because they're moving teams, veteran running backs moving teams, but they have done this year.
Well, thank you for coming.
Better let Johnny go and watch
kick off.
Anyway, gentlemen, yes, it's been a pleasure. Good luck, everyone, in week 10. I hope you all do. I hope you all do what you need to do, and you don't make any silly mistakes. Apart from Doug.
So love me, boys. It's been good fun.
It's been fun. Thank you.